Angelic Teaching 4, session number 6. We've been talking about faith, we've been talking about strength. We kind of talked a little bit about passion. I feel we should definitely talk a little bit more about passion. Focus yourself on passion. Increase your field of energy. Everything that is linked to passion. Feel connected to this energy. What comes up to your mind? What are the emotions that come up? What are the visions that came? What is it that you picked up? Is it a family member? Someone who is there to your heart? See, by doing this, by connecting to one specific frequency, we allow ourselves to communicate directly to one of our chakra, one of our center of emotions, one of our center of energies. Therefore, any message that needs to be revealed, something that was there being stuck and blocked, gets revealed. I like the concept of light, and it is right. It's like shining light towards one thing, towards one chakra, towards one aspect, and letting this aspect be revealed. And we have to do that with strength, with confidence, right? With faith. See how those different aspects of energies that we've been working on, those different parts, those different type of energies, all combined, all together, start to blend and create something that is unique. I told you about this capacity of harnessing different types of energies and being able to blend them. Now imagine, remember we talked about inside of us, inside of your soul, having this crystal ball representing your soul, and having that shelf with different layers. And on that shelf, having the different tools, concepts that we've been creating and shifting and shaping for our needs. Each of those tools that we've been creating has its own specific image associated to it, and we can just tap onto it, and then when it opens up in bigger shape and form. And it can open up as a vortex, it can open up as a program, anything can happen. Well, guess what? What would it take for us to visualize on one shelf that we create? Jars. Jars with names on it. And those jars would be the different types of energies that we've been harnessing. That way you can visualize, just with one glance of an eye, the stock that you've got. How much faith do you have? How much courage do you have? Wow. Imagine that. That's a nice way of knowing where we are. Right? Tapping into different types of energies of ours. And being able then to know right away how much of this energy, how much of that energy we have, right? And then to readjust, rebalance, make some edits and changes on that. I kind of like this idea, don't you? I do. I do. Now, let's go even further. You're going to tell me, John, well, we've been starting to create already a few jars there. Now it's passion, we've got working on faith, we've been working on strength, and I definitely know that you're going to tell us soon that we have to create our own jars. Yes, I do. And then you're going to tell us, John, that now we have to blend some jars all together and create our own mixtures and composing our different things. Yes, I do. And seeing what label pops up. Having the jar, you just put things different in it, and you just put another one and another one and another one, and then at one point you just have this blend and you just don't know what that is, and you've got the sticker, and the sticker suddenly just magically appears one word on it, and that's the exact same substance that you're supposed to be using. Whoa. And then you create that field of energy with it, right? It's all about being visual, right? We've been working with the buttons in order to play with that. Well, you've got another tool now. Either you play with the buttons and you do believe that you tap into that, or you just create your own blend. Now, if you do want to work with your own blends and to keep those different jars safe, definitely at one point you're going to have your shelf being too small for all of that. So what would it take for you when you click on the shelf icon in your soul, in your crystal ball? That opens up one shelf in front of you, big shelf in front of you, right? And then what would it take for you to be able to do like on your iPhone? You know, like on the home page, swipe those different home pages, and you've got just another one with another one with another one, like you've got with all your apps and things like that. Guess what? When you do swap and you've got this shelf of yours, when you swap it, then it comes another shelf. You swap it, it comes another shelf. And you've got down below dots of how many shelves you have and on which shelf you are. Wow, I have chills. I love that concept. Another way of using technology in our daily life of spirituality. Oh, that's an amazing word. I like that. So, putting passion in our life, right? Why would we do that? We do that to be more alive, more present, more committed. Shake up that tree, right? See what comes down. If you don't shake it up enough, well, you might not have much thing falling from it. I know. How much do you have to shake it? How much do you have to push, hurt that tree for those fruits to fall? Is that what you want? I remember when I was a kid, we had this garden with full of apple trees. And around October, when it was getting cold, we were to have to collect the apples. So we would spend several hours in the cold collecting those fruits falling on the ground. And we had to be quite passionate sometimes. You had like a long wand, and with that long wand you had to beat the branches for those branches to release the trees, the fruits, the apples. What's the analogy between this and your life? Well, I'm asking that because it does make sense. That at one point, you need to know exactly what you want. You can be passing in front of that tree, witnessing the fruits there, whether it's apples or whether it's cherries, and still being starving. What gives you the courage, the impulse of going further and deciding to harvest those fruits? Well, you have to find motivation, right? Something that stimulates you for doing something. Is it because you need to eat? Is it because you want to sell them in order to finance something? What is it that brings you to make that decision? And for what purpose you're doing it? Bringing back to energy work. Always work with different angles, right? I keep telling you this, and I will demonstrate to you this again and again, so many different ways. Blending those different realities, that's the path. Blending this path is the only way of empowerment. Well, that would be a quote. We do need to know exactly what we want and the real motives what we do things. You're not just doing a healing for healing. I don't want you to do that. What are the motives behind doing a healing? Is it to prove yourself that you can do it? Is it to really help that person? Is it to be helping that person so they can be referring you to their friends? Is it to earn some kind of competition in order to prove yourself something? Is it to get access for some recognition at one level or another? It might be a testimonial. It might be anything. Is it that you want to go further than all of that and want to understand exactly how you can duplicate, replicate that to teach it and to eradicate the symptom from Earth? Wow. That's a bit deeper, isn't it? And what about understanding one pattern that could be used to not only release one symptom, but many symptoms alike? Like a family symptom. And eradicate it. Is it that you're doing it in order to help finance a bigger plan? Maybe it's because you want to finance your research, and your research being working on an amazing concept of another engine fueled by psychic energies that you can gather and collect. And that amazing prototype will be used on some kind of spaceship that is going to travel through time and space. Wow. And help go in other space-time dimensions. Because as a psychic, you channel and collect some information on some alien technologies that are way more advanced than ours, working with crystals and thoughts. I told you, the limits between our realities and the projections of your minds are important, they are great, and at the same time, you always have this boundary to find what is real and what is not, what is fantasy and what is something that could happen. I keep talking to you about this man that I just admire, Elon Musk. He wants to go on Mars. He's going to make it happen. And I'm going to support him in many ways I can. Not too many people could consider themselves as pioneers. Yes, people have invented the internet. Yes, people have been creating and inventing Wi-Fi. What's next? What's next? What are we going to discover? What are we going to experiment? What type of technology is going to revolutionize the world, bringing it to the next level? What's the next step? How much of a pioneer are you? Do you want to be recognized for such? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to achieve? What's your passion? What is your passion? What are your passions? A passion can be love for a child to grow, to nurture him, to give him everything he needs. The passion could be to create a new breed of orchid. I've seen people like that. I met people like that who create new breed of orchid in Beverly Hills. Amazing mansion. Was invited there, and this person was able to blend different species of orchid and create new ones. What an amazing job. Imagine that. Being paid to create life that can replicate itself on its own without you interfering at all. How great is that? Well, I would say that I'm always astonished when I realize how much importance passions takes place in our life. See, the words that we choose are important, right? And we said that each word has its own frequency. And you start combining now different words in different sentences, being guided in choosing the right ones with the right intensity. It creates something totally different. When I was doing my first recordings, and you can go back and look at the Angelic Healing Certificate, for example. I've always been passionate about what I do, whatever I do. I was passionate on one field, connecting on the energy level. And I suddenly realized that this interaction was not enough, that I could do better, I could do deeper. And this is when I started to get involved into knowing better my vocabulary and my syntax, to learn more and more in depth about using the right words in the right sequence, how to express with few words and simple words and the best way possible concepts, and to be able to share that, to deliver them, not only with my voice, not only by working on the pitch, the volume, the intensity of my voice, and at the same time I'm working on the way I physically interact, for my hands to be able to match what I say, for my body giving an inclination, giving an angle. When I watch back and I look at those different videos and I see how I changed and interacted with different things, I like what I see. And I know I can push it further and further and working better and better. Yes, I'm sharing this with you and that's personal, and I know that. And that's why I do it on purpose. It's about walking your talk. Yeah. If I encourage you to do that, to better yourself, to get further and further and deeper, I have to be able to demonstrate this capacity as well. I have to prove those different results and making it work. I have to. It is a must. Because I do believe that. And when you believe of something that you must do, it happens. When you work hard and you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do your recordings, it's funny that I said to redo. See, always put those brackets of time and space with anything that happens, to redo those recordings. That's the subconscious mind sneaking in and telling you that everything that we're doing right now, I've already done it. That's a belief. That's a belief that this reality here is one of many. And this reality, I've been already going through that because I've already seen myself doing those recordings. This brings you faith and confidence because you do know that whatever is going to happen during that recording, it would be perfect just the way it is. Because it has been done already. And it helped you to go to the next step. Have faith in the process. Be committed to your thoughts, to your ideas. improve and get better and better. Yes, passion is important. And faith. And strength. I've been sharing with you my 3 key strengths, values, energies. Those are the 3 ones that define who I am. Yeah. Strength, passions, and faith. That defines my own energy by creating a blend of those 3 and creating blends of those, plus adding other energies that I can collect and gather or create and manifest. I would say one person has 3 key energies. Yeah. I do believe that. That's the vision I have. Obviously, you can come up with a bunch of other amazing energies that define one individual. You could be saying that instead of 3, they have to be 30 or 36 different energies that will identify one single individual. Well, I still do believe that there are 3 core ones. But guess what? That's a belief. Now, we've been working on my 3 ones. And I chose to be working on those as I discovered them with you, because I felt called to do that. Now, you're going to do it on your own, right? You're going to find the energies that you want to be working on and working with, creating your buckets of harvest energies. Like harvesting maple syrup, right? From the seed rising from the tree. And you want to do that. You want to identify your 3 core energies. Guess what? We could be focusing just this teaching, the whole 4 angelic teaching 4, just on that. The whole full purpose will be to be able for you to tap into your 3 primal energies that define who you are. And if we would have achieved that, that will be in its own a success for this course. I know. It goes way beyond energy work. It goes way beyond personal development. It goes way beyond one individual. It's about all of it at once. Can't explain it. The vision that came to me I think it came from frustration when I was a teacher at university and in high school. feeling this frustration of having to stick to one specific topic, to one specific subject, when all those different other subjects were all linked to it, and they had apparently no straightforward connection with them. From that frustration, I transformed into determination. I shifted the energy from frustration to determination. It's like going from one extreme to the other polarity of it by changing the frequency of it. Changing the frequency of it. Bing. And when you do that, you change one frequency to another one. This is called a very specific process. It's called alchemy. The capacity for you to change and alter realities. Well, amazing alchemist would be to be able to transform lead into gold, right? I actually knew a friend of mine whose father was doing that in a research center called CERN in Geneva, Switzerland. He was one of the top 3 in the world scientists who is able to physically, through atoms, bombarding atoms against each other, physically transform lead into gold. And we're talking about this when I was about maybe 12 years old. So we're talking about 1985. His father obviously was a scientist and physicist, and he was one of the top 3 in the world in that field. That's mind-blowing, right? He will tell me that it would be possible to do it. However, at that time period, it will take for them more energies to do it, so more cost, than the actual value of the gain, getting gold. So the gold will cost them too much to create, but still they were able to make it. I have to agree that I'm blessed with being able in my life to meet so amazing, interesting people. And I'm very grateful for that. You know, I feel that life is all about having a normal life most of the time, and having sparkles of events in your life that just happen to change quite a few things. I do believe in intensity, right? That's one of my core values. And in terms of intensity, I do believe in the intensity of relationships with one person or several. Interaction with people. I always prefer, and that's who I am, I always prefer the intensity of an encounter with one person than working on the length of a relationship. And you find this in my healings. I like to be working very intensely on one subject and then being able to work very intensely on another one. That defines who I am. And that defines as well my work. But that also defines how I have to interact with others and what type of work I should be doing. Which brings us back to square one. Define your 3 core values, and then from those 3, you're going to be able to do anything you want in your life. Because you're going to play with that. And you can even transform that, blend that, shift that. But you start with your 3 primal colors. That's why we come up with the number 3. So you're going to tell me, John, where did you find that thing? You know how I work. I just channeled it. Was I expecting to say that during this recording today? No. That's me being honest. I told you, we learn all the time new things. The old question is, how much of those thoughts, how much of those inventions, discoveries, new routes, new paths, are you going to be able to blend, to let come through you? So one thing I would like you to look at is how this is going to work for you, because that's what counts. That's the only thing that counts. Is what use are you going to do with knowing that you have to find your 3 core values in order to be amazingly successful in any different fields in your life? What is it going to be? Right? So what is it going to be? How are you going to be able to find that? How are you going to be able to find those different values? How are you going to connect with it? It's called trust. It's called faith. I do know that the path that is going to bring you towards discovering those 3 ones you have to own it. You could wait on someone else telling you this, telling you and pointing out to you your different values. But imagine that it takes ages to do that. Imagine that it takes you half of your life to know you better, to know yourself. Wouldn't it be great if right away you will be able to discover your own, your really own ones? So, I challenge you. I challenge you. I challenge you. What would it take for you? This is session number 6. What would it take for you that before session number 10, you find your 3 core values? Call them values. Call them inner capacities. Put the word on them that you need, that you wish, that you want. Find those 3 primal energies that are going to fuel anything, any event in your life, anytime you wish to connect with them. Well, if they come up as number 3, Well, that reminds me of the three primal colors, right? Blue, yellow, and red. Red will definitely be my passion. Which one is faith? Which one? The first word that I hear is faith will be blue for me. And yellow will be my strength. The color yellow reminds me of energy itself. So what would it take for you to be able to find those for you? And you've got four sessions now left to do that. And when you will find them, with whatever tool you wish to use among all the tools that I've been giving you, when you find your three primal colors of yours, send them to me by an email, through an email. Right? Let's do that. Talk to you soon. Have faith, strength, and passion.